What's up, people? Americans and foreigners alike. Welcome, 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 welcome. Ah, come on in here, y'all. Chat room. I ain't gonna be in here long. Just finished a all day drive. Markeith DJ Lundy. I ain't gonna be here long, long, long. I'm tired as fuck. Just drove back to LA from Lake Tahoe. 8.5 hour drive. So yeah, I just got back from 8.5 hour drive, and so yeah, I'm a tad bit tired. What up, y'all? What's up, 100% Rotten Podcast? Ty Campbell, Blaine. And if you've signed up for my cardology class, June 18th, today's the last day for the early bird discount. The price goes up starting tomorrow. But if you signed up, please email me. If you signed up through Cash App, email me your email address and a screenshot of your Cash App so I know exactly who you are and match you. Either your email address or your Cash App name, but I would prefer if you took a screenshot of your Cash App. That way I match the email address with the Cash App to make sure I give everybody their full credit. But that's a good way to put it, dog. Violence is the reason for hip hop. I like that. I like that answer. Subjustment. I like that answer. So yeah. But it was I'm gonna get into the topic in about 2 minutes. It was dope being up in Lake Tahoe. But I won't say hip hop is the only vehicle. Actually, I'm not gonna wait around. I'm gonna get right into it. I'll talk about Lake Tahoe later on. But anyway, because I ain't gonna be here long. And who the fuck dog is that barking? God damn. So I'm bringing this topic up because I always hear. Look, I expect white folks to blame black shit on black people, like hip hop, whatever. But I'm bringing this up because I hear too many black people talking about, and I hear this from a lot of old hip hop heads too. I hear this from a lot of hip hop heads. And they talk about the violence in our community and they blame hip hop. I hear this shit all the time. And it's annoying as fuck. It is so annoying to blame American violence or black on black violence on hip hop. Does the music play a part in people's violence? Yes, it does. Violence, music may play a part. But if rap music is the reason why there's so much violence, why is there so much violence in America before rap music? Before quote unquote hip hop culture? What music was they listening to when all these white folks murdered all these Indians and black folks? What was the soundtrack to that? What's the soundtrack to when they was having to shoot him up in Tombstone, Arizona? What was it? What was the soundtrack to that? He said banjos. And I'm somebody who don't even, I don't even listen to a lot of this shit. It's but I grew up here on the West Coast through the 80s and the 90s. And I remember, that's a good point on 100% Rotten Podcast. I wonder if Frank Nitty and Al Capone was listening to hip hop. I remember as a kid, them blaming Ice Cube and NWA and Snoop, later on Snoop and Tupac, on the violence going on in South Central LA. I remember that stuff. And I remember sitting back listening to my dad and my uncles talk about a lot of the shit that went on in LA during the 70s. And I remember thinking, like, yes, it's probably worse. It's definitely probably worse now, but it's not like Black America or America itself was peaceful when Earth and Fire was at number one. Music don't get no goddamn more peaceful than Earth and Fire. And when Earth and Fire was still dropping, Land of Fantasy and That's the Way of the World, niggas was still getting shot. So we blame hip hop. And why do niggas keep repeating these cliches? Like I hear all the time talking about some man with the West Coast brought that it all changed when the West Coast brought in that gangster rap. And I'm here to tell you, I remember being a kid when quote unquote gangster rap was coming around. Them niggas was talking about what we was seeing. They was reporting on the streets. And this is me, even in the 90s, I've never been a big hip hop fan. I'm a hip hop head. I like the music of certain people, but and I understand the art really well. And I know a lot of the artists. But my personal favorite form of music is rhythm and blues, funk, soulful, love ballads. I like that. I'm more into that. I'd rather hear a love ballad before a rap song. I'd rather hear something in the funk genre before anything hip hop. But I still understand hip hop and know hip hop very well. It's just not my number one form of music. Rap/hip hop is probably my fifth favorite form of music. After rhythm and blues, jazz, funk, fusion. When I'm done with that, then I'll flip over to rap. So I'm not someone over here just to defend hip hop. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I think it's unfair that hip hop and rap music gets all of the blame. We live in America. I was this past weekend watching a TV show when I was in Lake Tahoe. It was some car I was watching. I was just flipping. You know, just when you're in a hotel, you just flipping through the channels, don't really know what's on TV. And some cartoon movie came on that was on Disney. That was on the Disney Channel or Disney Plus, one of those two. My wife was watching it. I just remember seeing Disney on the logo. I don't know if it's on the Disney Channel or Disney Plus. But anyway, the whole cartoon was about this team of good guys with weapons chasing down a team of bad guys with weapons. And this is programming for 6-month-olds. This is programming for 6-month-olds. And you want to blame rap? Every cartoon I flipped through has guns. And it was the same way when I was a kid. My favorite cartoons was Bugs Bunny, Warner Brothers. You can't go one cartoon without somebody getting shot. But you want to blame hip hop? You want to blame hip hop? OC Green Machine, why are you letting me know that? I don't give a fuck. Hey man, why do people dude, if you don't like this format, keep what do you think I'm gonna stop talking like this because you don't like it? Fuck out of here. Whatever. Kurt going? God damn, these motherfuckers. I just want to let you know I don't like this format. Well, I know people who do like it. They like when I'm sitting in the dark, puffing on this blunt. Jeez. I mean, the nerve of some people. They got some goddamn free entertainment. Like, this ain't a Patreon. This ain't a webinar that I'm charging for. This ain't a pay-per-view event. Nigga, this is literally click and watch. Literally. I don't like this format. I don't like you. I'm just playing. Well, back to what we talking about. Back to what we talking about. We've gotten culturally too comfortable with repeating whatever white folks say. They want to blame rap music. Now here we are blaming rap music. And I say we, I mean even rappers. Why is Black America so violent? All right, let's answer that. First of all, we're not violent. We're not any more violent than this nation is itself. We live in an extremely violent country. And within a violent country, every group is going to have its element of street justice. Because in a country that sells drugs to the world, it also sells drugs to its own people. And they funnel those drugs through the gang system, whether it be the Hells Angels, the white biker gangs that kill each other all the time, whether that be the Mexican mafia here in LA, the Mexican street gangs that kill each other all the time, whether that be the fentanyl that's coming over from China and the Chinese gangs, the triads, and I don't know if that's Chinese, Japanese, but they all got gangs. Or whether that be through the Russians and their mafias. I mean, you name the culture, you name the group in America, they have a subset of thugs. Who do they listen to? That's true, May Durfee, but I'm playing along with just common perception. Where does the line of violence stop? And why is it black violence is blamed on me on the music, but nobody looks at the TV? Got to start asking these questions. And furthermore, hip hop, according to y'all, according to the media, is the number one genre of music on the planet. Everybody listens to hip hop. The record sales prove it. So if everybody listens to hip hop, and every group has its gangster element and criminal element, why is it only black people? Hip hop and black people. Why does hip hop only work on black people when it comes to violence? If you're gonna say hip hop is a violent music, then why isn't it being connected to these school shooters? Who are these school shooters listening to? Huh? There's a whole form of music called death metal. All they do is talk about rape and death. Why doesn't death metal ever get blamed? Or outlaw country. There's a whole subsect of country music called outlaw country, where it's just stories of criminality. Why wasn't country music blamed on the Waco, Texas shooting with David Koresh? On the Ruby Ridge incident in the late 89, 90? Or the Vegas shooter, Stephen Paddock. Don't forget that motherfucker who shot all the people up at the from the Mandalay Bay. What was he listening to? We got to ask these questions. We got to ask these questions. Because it's Black Music Month. Celebrate black music. Don't let them erase our month and then connect us with only one genre of music, then say that genre of music's bad. They tried that same shit with jazz. It didn't work. And this ain't gonna work with hip hop. You dig what I'm saying? Ooh, this blunt is good. Again, if you signed up for my cardology class and you paid through Cash App, email me a screenshot of your Cash App so I have y'all organized and I can send you the link to the class. All right? But yeah, America's a very violent nation. Extremely violent. Why is hip hop only associated with black violence? You dig? But they tried the same thing with jazz, the blues. The blues was known as devil's music. You know what I mean? Jazz was known as devil's music too, and it was known to they used jazz to outlaw weed. Ooh. You know the first person ever arrested for marijuana in LA history was Louis Armstrong, jazz great. He was the first person ever arrested for illegal possession for smoking weed. He was arrested on Sunset Boulevard right here in LA. Whatever we doing that people love, They're going to take that thing and associate it with the lowest run of our society. So I said all that to say this. Don't let them punk you into blaming hip hop on everything. Does the music need to change? Yeah. We need balance in our music. I hate when people say that. We need to stop it. No, we're always gonna have shitty. We're always gonna have shitty music. We're always gonna have music that speaks to the low run of society because that's just part of life. All music ain't gonna be positive and uplifting. It's okay to have music that ain't talking about shit because sometimes parts of life ain't about shit. You know. It's okay to have music that's about cussing people out and doing violent things. Violence has always been a part of music. But we do need that balance. We need that balance. We need you to talk about some bullshit and then follow it up and give us a message of empowerment. Like Too Short used to do. Too Short would go around talking shit, talk about beating somebody's ass, talk about fucking 200 women in one night. But then he turn around and give us some positive, uplifting music like The Ghetto. Music like Short and Funky. You know what I mean? Too Short would give us that balance. You know, Tupac would also. It's okay not to talk about a bunch of bullshit, but bring that balance back. I would love that. And I would love hip hop to integrate the live sound more. The same way Outkast would, the same way Kendrick, really the way Kendrick did with To Pimp a Butterfly. That was one of the most amazing pieces of artwork ever put together was Kendrick's To Pimp a Butterfly. To Pimp a Butterfly, my bad. Tongue twisted like a motherfucker. Excuse me, I went on an 8.5-hour drive today. Lake Tahoe to LA. And I went the scenic route too. I didn't go down the 5 freeway around all that dust. Nigga, I went 395. So when you take that Highway 395 drive from Tahoe to LA, you go on the backside of Yosemite, Mammoth, Sequoia. Oh, such a beautiful drive. Rivers and shit, snow capped mountains. It was a beautiful drive. But anyway, the way Kendrick did To Pimp a Butterfly, original music with jazz musicians. Hip hop needs to get to a live sound. Music needs to get to a live sound. You know? So I am not here to say that, you know, the music is perfect. No, it needs to change in a lot of ways. You know? But say you never turn on rap music. We got the baby. My favorite cartoon growing up was Bugs Bunny. And every day I grew up as a baby, as a child, I saw. Damn, I wish a nigga turn that shit down. Every day I would see Bugs Bunny getting chased with a shotgun. Daffy Duck blowing his face off with a shotgun. I love, what's his name? Speedy Gonzalez. Yippa, yippa, yeehaw, yeehaw. And then Yosemite Sam shooting his ass and shit. I grew up with toy water pistols. Before I knew who Eazy-E and NWA was, I had a cap gun in my hand. Before I ever heard Tupac, my favorite cartoons My favorite cartoon as a kid was Heathcliff. All Heathcliff did was fight. I remember when I was a kid, I used to walk out the house and I would decide. See, for me, I would fight when I was like really young. But by the time I got to be about 7 or 8, instead of fighting, I would just go out the house and talk shit. So like when I was a kid, I really thought I was Heathcliff. I would leave at my grandmama's house. I would walk down the block, and the minute the first kid I see, I just start clowning the fuck out of him, thinking I'm Heathcliff. Like when I was 6 and 7, I would actually fight. I stopped. I didn't like fighting. By the time I got about 8 or 9, I stopped fighting as much. I would just start clowning people and talking shit. But that was my version of Heathcliff. Just instead of, what if the cartoons were like pleasurable? No. Everything we watched was some sort of violence. Fighting, shooting. That's before we get introduced to anything in music. Oh yeah, Tom and Jerry here, motherfucking yeah. Ash, you ain't said a word. Tom and Jerry, nigga, how did I forget Tom and Jerry? Nigga. Man, everything we watch, even to this day, like I was watching the Disney Plus app, to this day, everything is about a war. It's about confrontation. It's about, we used to watch He-Man cartoons, Thundercat. Nigga, we had to watch Gargamel always trying to chase down Papa Smurf. Like, why couldn't Gargamel and Papa Smurf get along? Gargamel was always trying to, Smurfs! I'm going to eat me some Smurfs. Come on, Gargamel. Everything we watch is violence. My favorite show as a kid was the A-Team. Violence. They ring out 500 shots and would nobody get shot on the A-Team. Watch Knight Rider. Violence. Kid using his car to run up in people's ass. Everything is violence in America. Look at the TV shows. Look at reality. Pay attention, y'all. When y'all turn on y'all TV and just watch TV commercials for these reality shows, press the number 1 if you feel me right here. Press the number 1 if you feel me. When you watch these TV commercials, I'm not saying you watch the show, but watch commercials. Every reality show is a war. You turn to the cooking channel, baking wars. You turn to the True TV, parking wars. You turn to the battle of the sexes. Everything is a battle or a war. Just pay attention to the title of these reality shows. Everything is a battle or a war. Everything about our TV consumption, not everything, but a majority of what we consume on TV is a battle, it's a war, it's a fight. It's law and order, mistrust. Who backstabbed who? If TV doesn't have direct violence, it has indirect violence. Who shot JR? That was a big old thing back in the 80s. People back in the 80s, nigga, yeah, John Wick killed 1,000 people. Look, let me tell y'all something. Television programming. The brain, the subconscious, that shit's locked and loaded by the time you're 8 years old. By the time you're 8 years old, your subconscious is locked and loaded. Your disposition and how you view the world. If you view the world in a violent manner at 16, 20, it's usually because something happened or your perception in the world between 0 and 8 concluded that violence was a reasonable answer to a threat. See, the only way that hip-hop can work, the only way that rap music can work, according to them, the way they say it works, if that were true, the only way it could be true is if there was already a subconscious agreement to being violent. A subconscious agreement that it most likely happened between the ages of 0 and 8. What caused this violent 16-year-old, this violent 20-year-old, to express himself in such a violent manner? What made him so comfortable with violence? That's the question. What made that 21-year-old boy so comfortable with violence? Who or what programmed into the mind of that young man that using violence is the answer? Yeah. Every Clint Eastwood, every John Wayne, shit nowadays, Keanu Reeves. Schwarzenegger. Think about this. Arnold Schwarzenegger had a career in violent movies, and they rewarded him by becoming governor of California. Think about that for a second. Schwarzenegger, Last Action Hero, The Racer, RoboCop. I mean, not RoboCop, the Terminator. Just the Terminator alone is more gun violence than anyone under the age should ever watch. Yeah. So again, don't let them play the okie doke on y'all, man. Don't let them play us. If we want to solve violence, we gotta look at the whole picture. We gotta do our best as men to bring whatever. If you don't have money, bring your skills and talents and your time down to the hood. Cultivate the next generation. Parents, put your kids back in music. When our babies learn music, they won't be so interested in such low bass level, low brow music. There'll be a standard. You dig? But again, I drove 8.5, 9 hours. I'm tired as fuck. I just wanted to come to y'all with that real quick because this was a thought on my mind. I am about to take my black ass to sleep. I just wanted to talk to y'all because y'all know how nigga is. You gotta smoke that right before bed blunt. So I figured I'd smoke that right before bed blunt with y'all. You dig? But again, if you signed up for the cardiology course, and for those I have I have one more slot for my cardiology. No, two more slots. Price goes up tomorrow. If you signed up, make sure you email me and take a picture of your deposit that you paid. So I was gonna make sure I got the right people. All right. And remember, there are no perfect messengers. Only perfect messages for those willing to pick up the game. This blunt is done, so I'm done. Who the fuck is that? I'm looking at my neighbors coming out. All right. Yeah, this blunt done, so I'm done. I'll holler at y'all.